Looks phenomenal.
This beard was solid.
Yeah.
And yeah, Brandon. Yeah.
Brandon?
I mean,
Ben Affleck got
Brandon's
competition.
heavy breathing over there.
I've
Santa
made
Claus.
very, very envious of that beard. I would, love to have that beard now. Santa's on his way.
Hi, I'm Al. Welcome to
Christmas vacation.
CiNEMACHiNE.
There it is. That's the Brandon we know.
Oh boy, he is in the spirit for some fa la 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 films. As we told you last week, we're going to give you a little surprise, some gifts, if you will, for the Christmas season. So this entire month, we are going to surprise you with what we're going to review. Ryan, how you doing this week?
I'm doing great, Al. How are you doing?
Great. Brandon, how are you?
Fantastic. Doing just fine. Great. Good.
Okay.
Yeah, those are quite different words.
All right. So, really, this is kind of fun because folks are kind of like, what are they going to review? Well, we're actually reviewing a new movie, which we're excited
Doesn't
about.
happen very often these days.
No. But before we actually review a movie, let's talk about where all of you can chat with us after the episode or before an episode, suggest things to us. Ryan, you want to tell them where they can get in touch with us?
Yep. If you are watching on YouTube, feel free to reach out to us in the comments. And then if you are on Instagram, we love talking movies on there, and that's at CiNEMACHiNE And I'll also say, Brandon, what are you wearing there? What is that?
Oh, this old thing?
Yeah.
This is
This shameless product
I don't know
placement.
where I am in the frame, but
All of a sudden, I feel like showgirls.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just some shameless merch plug there.
We got merch?
We do.
Yeah,
Nice.
We do.
Excellent.
Go to our website.
You
There's a
can
link.
Give
We are going to
CiNEMACHiNE
be... Exactly.
Christmas.
We are going to be running a holiday special on CiNEMACHiNE merch. So we'll put the details for that up on social. So you can give the gift
Check it
of
out.
CiNEMACHiNE.
I will say, this is a tri-blend shirt, and boy, does it feel nice. Feels
It really is
so
a nice
good.
shirt.
Please
I
stop
will
rubbing
agree.
yourself.
Can't help it.
Keep it. This is peachy.
Well, if you like rubbing yourself, please buy one of our shirts. Thank you.
commercial.
Every dollar you give, we put in our bank accounts. So thank you. There's
In the spirit of the giving season.
yeah, give to us and we will take. Well, okay. It's time to let the cat out of the bag, so to speak. This week, we watched Fatman. This movie was released November 13th in 2020. It's very weird to say a movie was released in 2020. Directed by the Nelms brothers, Isham and Ian. Had a
I
budget
don't
of...
actually know if they're brothers. I was just told you to say brothers.
They
So
are.
we'll see.
Their website is nelmsbros.com.
Okay.
So
Okay.
confirmed. This movie had a budget of $20 million, and it is now on VOD for rental, or you can see it in some theaters.
Also pre-order for physical.
Yeah, you can do that as well. And so far, it has made $597,848. So that's pretty good this year. If Tenet only made $22 million, something like that. So the synopsis of this movie is: to save his declining business, Kris Kringle, also known as Santa Claus, is forced into a partnership with the U.S. military. Making matters worse, Kris gets locked into a deadly battle of wits against a highly skilled assassin hired by a precocious 12-year-old after receiving a lump of coal in his stocking. Now, the best part of this, the selling point of this movie is who plays Santa Claus, and that is Mr. Mel Gibson. And then old Teeth himself, Walton Goggins, is the skinny man. He's the hit man, if you want to say. And Marianne Jean Baptiste is Ruth, which is Mrs. Claus. And Chance Hertzfield is the kid, Billy Weenan. So I'm going to get Brandon's initial review of this. Did you see this in theaters or at home?
I saw it at home.
Okay.
VOD. I thought it was solid. I thought it was different than I expected it to be, if I'm being honest. I thought the tone was going to be a little more irreverent than it was. Mm-hmm. It's much more serious in tone than I expected. But I thought it was well directed. I just didn't. I guess I was just let down because knowing the players involved, mainly Gibson and Walton Goggins, especially more so Walton Goggins than anything, I thought it was going to be more funny than it was. And he wasn't really funny at all. Walton Goggins, that is. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was good. I thought it was a cool take on the mythology. And, I thought everybody was solid. I didn't think anybody was bad in it. But it was just like good.
Okay. Ryan, what'd you think?
I was let down by this movie. I agree. I was expecting it to be more comedic, less dry comedy than it was, especially with Walton Goggins. I love the concept and I love the trailers, but I just thought the execution was meh. Mel Gibson was great. I just felt like there was a lot of missed opportunity because there were little elements of comedy that would peek through where I was like they could have really capitalized on that side of things more than they did. So yeah, that's my quick review.
All right.
We can jump back in later.
I personally, I'm kind of in between. There are parts of this movie where I was laughing because it was just so weird and quirky and campy, and this movie was.
It is campy.
This movie feels like not just in tone. It kind of feels like it was made like an '80s movie, like an old Verhoeven movie or something like that. But the grit, things of that nature, really kind of. It felt like the most realistic portrayal of Santa Claus, if that makes sense, because it felt like it was real. Because they did take the. It wasn't like Buddy the Elf was there or anything like that.
It's like the Chris Nolan of Santa Claus movies.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's a very deconstructed approach.
But yeah, so I liked Mel Gibson a lot. There are some scenes in this movie where I'm like, that dude's a good actor. You can just tell he eats up the scenery. Walton Goggins. I wanted him to be a little bit, I wish he played it a little differently, but you have to go by what the directors say. I understand that. So, but overall, I liked the premise of the movie. Some of the execution, which we'll talk about in a minute, kind of missed for me. But overall, I'll probably end up buying this movie because there's a caveat to that. I buy Christmas movies. I love Christmas movies.
Al, you're supposed to wait till the end to tell them if you're going to buy it.
But hang on, we'll get there. We got something.
That was a quick review.
We got something a little different tonight instead of buy it, skip it, whatever. So, yeah, throw a curveball on you.
We're gonna do an Oscars quiz.
Yeah, I got 12 categories. So, but no, I thought this movie was a good way to look at it differently. But the reason I will probably buy it is because I like to buy quirky Christmas movies, just like I like to listen to quirky Christmas music. Which, if you're out there, listen to James Brown's Christmas album. It's great. But so that's where I fall in there. It is campy enough. I don't think it's a great movie though. So, but we'll get into all of that. So let's first and foremost talk about Mel Gibson as Santa Claus. I thought he was killing the beard game. His beard was
He looked phenomenal.
His beard was solid.
Yeah.
And yeah. Brandon. Yeah.
Brandon?
I mean,
Ben Affleck got
Brandon's
competition.
heavy breathing over there.
I've
Santa Claus.
very, very envious of that beard. I would, love to have that beard now.
I saw an interview that he did for like press junket type interview for this movie, and it just his beard's excellent. Like the color streaking he's got going on in it.
Yeah.
It's the thing of legends.
The dude has aged well.
I think his beard was second build in this movie, actually.
Probably.
Pretty nice.
It was his beard was played by Jack Black. If you didn't know that.
Yeah.
So, but no, I down to the leather. So spoilers all the way through this. Please watch this movie, and then come back and watch this review, please. But down to the red leather coat that he wore at the end of the movie, I thought that coat was awesome. I was like, dude, that is. I
want that coat.
I do. I thought the whole thing was like, oh wow, this is like a real cool way to look at Santa Claus, and he was just grizzled and had enough of it, and
sure,
he still had the Christmas spirit, but he was tired of the politics involved with the Christmas holidays. So I think a lot of people can relate to that, because you want to go out and you want to do the festivities and things of that nature, but then you get bogged down by the the commercialism and stuff like that. So anyway, what'd you guys feel about Mel Gibson as Santa Claus?
Brandon, you want to go? You want me to?
Let's go with Ryan. Let's go with Ryan.
I thought he was awesome. If there was any shining point in this movie for me, it was Mel Gibson. The role he played, the role he was supposed to play. I mean, that's as gritty of a Santa Claus as you can possibly get. And he always does a great job in any of his movies. He's great at acting with his eyes. And there were some like tight shots on his face where like
he's addressing the elves.
Do what?
Yeah.
When he's addressing the elves to tell them he's like made
and he started crying, like tearing up. I was like, that's one of those moments I was like, this dude can act, man. Like I felt that.
Yeah.
Like I was like, he really does mean that.
So. Also when he's out in the snow at the end before they start Walton Goggins and him start fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Like he yells, coming for your head, Fatman, and it's like, you think you're the first? Like he's just it's just real like
you believe it. You almost forget it's Mel Gibson as much as that's hard to believe.
Right.
But
and I don't fault Mel Gibson at all for the lack of comedy. I don't think that he was meant to be that part. I almost wish that there was more like I was expecting from him more like badassery kind of with different things. But I felt like the comedy was supposed to be written around this character. Yeah. And he was just kind of supposed to be that rock, like the role he played. I think he did great in that role.
Yeah, this was like if Lee Wanell directed a Christmas movie. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't say much more than you've already said. I thought he was great in the role, and I just, I agreed that I don't think that here's the thing. I don't even know if this movie was intended to be more comedic. I wish it was. Maybe that's just a desire that I'm placing.
Well, that's
on
kind of how they.
I feel like the trailer really like presented it that
Well,
way.
that line from Walton Goggins, "Fat Man," is in the
Yeah.
trailer,
Yeah.
and that to me was a funny read.
Yeah.
So that led me to believe
There
that
were
it was gonna
also
be
there
a
were also a
comedy.
couple other lines in the trailer too, where like
Yeah.
it was the very like the conflicting styles of like Santa Claus being sad about the Christmas spirit being dead, but it's this Mel Gibson like hardened dude saying it. It was just like I don't know.
Yeah.
I just felt like that
Yeah, I
was
mean,
lacking in the movie.
I guess they definitely marketed it to be kind of a.
I mean, they called it
more-
Fat Man too.
Yeah, a little more satirical.
Yeah.
Take, but yeah, I mean, I don't understand why you hire Walton Goggins for this part and don't let him
I agree.
Walton Goggins it up. I mean,
I agree.
that guy's
100%.
awesome at that. You know, like
Oh, he's one of
he's
the
just
best
playing it
out there right now.
Yeah, I just it doesn't make sense to me.
He's kind of like
Like,
the,
and you don't even have to try hard either. Just like let him do his thing.
Yeah,
yeah, he's kind of like the, for lack of a better example, kind of like the Samuel L. Jackson of the day. You like once you know he's in there, you know he's going to throw the pepper in the movie.
Sure.
So, all right. So let's talk about just
Al,
the
do you have anything else that
about
give you a chance to talk about Mel Gibson? If you
about Mel
have anything
Gibson?
else you say?
I'm a Mel Gibson fan, and I know Mel Gibson has his checkered past and all of that, but you point at one person in Hollywood that doesn't, and I'll be glad to, So, and including myself, I'm not in Hollywood or anything, but I'm just saying I have sins in my life that, maybe not to that degree, but
Look, we're all in Hollywood. We're on a podcast.
That's right. We're
The
big time.
paparazzi, they're out there.
We're big time.
Haven't seen them yet, but
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah. I didn't even know we were recording the show. I just thought we were talking. So, but no, I like him in general. I think he's a pretty darn good actor. He's done cheesy stuff, of course, everybody has, but he really, in his elder years, he's really brought some gritty roles to life. Maybe as he tiptoes his way back into acting over the last few years. What was that one, Dragged Across Concrete?
Yeah.
I didn't like that movie, but I liked him in it, So I just like him, and I was really intrigued about, Mel Gibson is playing Santa Claus. I didn't care if it was a happy-go-lucky Mel Gibson's playing Santa Claus, or if it was a gritty, what Fat Man really is. I was just excited to see Mel Gibson play Santa Claus. So
yeah.
that part of the movie went very well in my mind. I think that was good.
Cool.
So let's talk about we'll talk about some of the other characters in a little while, but while we're on Santa Claus, let's talk about the universe here, the world in which Santa Claus lives. Because usually, you have movies like The Santa Claus, you have Elf, and, the movies that we're all accustomed to where everything's holly jolly and, he's still eating cookies and doing the Santa Claus thing. But for crying out loud, Mrs. Claus is, they have a mixed race relationship, and so that's out of the ordinary right there, which is, I thought she did a great job as well. We'll talk about her in a little bit.
Good, yeah.
But no, nothing felt forced in this movie, and it, like I was saying earlier, it felt like it was the most realistic version of Santa Claus I'd ever seen. Not because it was like he's gritty and things of that nature, but it's just because
He was human.
Yeah, he was human. Still had all the lore, like he flies around and has the reindeer, but they didn't get into all of that. They got into the elves.
Well, I think they smartly shied away from
Yeah.
Or whether it was
Yeah.
budgetary or just like, how are we going to portray this in a realistic sense? You can't really do
Yeah.
it. So it's like, we'll just
Sure.
kind of hint at it.
I think it was, yeah, it's probably both. It probably was budgetary, because I would imagine Mel Gibson took a lot of their budget to be in the movie.
I think it's probably best left to the imagination for this one, especially the context stuff that they were able to create from that, like the buckshot thing where you got shot. Well, like I thought all that stuff was cool. Like,
but I like how he drove around a truck, the old beater truck, and went to the post office to get the letters from the kids. And what was the name of the town he lived in? Like North Peak or something like that.
Yeah.
Alaska.
So,
Yeah.
Peak, Alaska.
So, it was just, it was pretty clever, the ideas they came up with. It sounds like they probably had a better script than we saw on screen.
Mhm.
And that's probably budgetary. But
Yeah.
it's hard to forgive budgetary when you look at people like Lee Wanell and know what he can do with a budget. And then you see things like, but I really like the elves, the depiction of the elves.
Speaking of the comedy, I thought that was actually like one of the few comedy lines that hit for me was when he was talking to the general about how they like do stuff like in the shop and how efficient they are about things, and the general like loved it.
Yeah, he's all yes. But it was that's so spot on, because if you had a force that could build like that, and Santa Claus was low on his money, like, of course the U.S. government would go up to him and ask him to help him with weapons and control panels and things like that. So, Brandon, what do you think about the world, I guess, if you want to say that, this version,
the CCU,
atmosphere,
the Christmas Cinematic Universe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought I loved that part of it. The deconstructed. Ryan and I are no strangers to deconstructed superhero takes. We love that. So Santa Claus deconstruction is right up our alley. I think that all the world building was great. Like I said, I love the take. I wish it was a little more irreverent. But yeah, I don't have anything bad to say about the world building. I just feel like it was like right on the cusp of being like, it could have been really great, but it didn't. I don't know if they just didn't have the chops to direct the comedic stuff, or maybe they didn't want it to be. I just feel like they should have a couple of different things. So besides them like lacking on the comedic stuff, I really wish that last set piece, I wish there was more like cannon fodder for Mel Gibson's Santa Claus to just go haywire and just taking out like randos, like red shirts.
That's what I was saying. I very much was expecting more of that. Like, he was real like hardened and stuff, but we didn't really get to see him like.
You don't. It's just like
go ape on
you because you only have Walton Goggins as the quote unquote bad guy. He gets to take out a lot of people in his time there at his farm or whatever. But Walton Goggins looked so uncomfortable in this role, like in this assassin role. Like, I don't know if he maybe he didn't spend a lot of time like training in like some sort of tactical gun play, but he just looked like, especially when he's like punching bag. He's punching like this almost like I don't know. He's kind of like, he's not like a macho guy in general. He's a little effeminate, and so
he's creepy. Like, that's if anything, like if he's not funny, he's creepy. Like, that's how.
So I wish that they had like maybe like a team of mercenaries that this kid hired to go and take out, so that you could have had some like red shirts, like I was saying, that Santa could have like maybe it was like a cat and mouse type movie where Santa's just like able to just have this big, like, brutal, like, final scene where he's just taking
Santa
all these
out
people.
in the woods,
Right.
like picking guys off.
Yeah.
I thought that it would have ultimately been better had Santa Claus been super jolly at the beginning of the movie, and then, like he's jolly at the post office, he's jolly around town at the bar, and when he's trying to get the guy to stop cheating on his wife or almost cheating on his wife or whatever, but he's like, he's almost Mr. Rogers. He's the Santa Claus we know. Everybody's like, oh, that's Santa Claus, and they're just super excited. But then whenever the military comes in and just he's constantly telling Mrs. Claus, like, I can't take it anymore. We need a vacation. We need to get out of this business. We need to pass the baton, whatever. And then, finds out a kid hired an assassin to come kill him, whatever. That's whenever he, like, shows, like, oh, okay, fine, I'm done. Like let the straw, like the camel's back break a little bit slower and see that boil up. And I'm saying still keep the same atmosphere that we had, the same deconstructed atmosphere. Everything else great, but just have it to where it's not so it's not such disdain to begin with, to where Santa's hopeful that things are going to turn around, and then whenever somebody's coming out trying to assassinate him, he's like, all right, fine, and then he just whips out, he's like, I'm ready for this. And it could have been kind of out of left field. And I think the more camp that you threw into a movie like this with this type of synopsis, I think the better. Because
maybe for me, like, I like the deconstructed nature of it, where like he's been like this has been wearing on him for years, obviously,
right.
And maybe it's just the fact that I like stories like that. I don't know, but I feel like it would have been kind of jarring to have all the like this such a quick up and down from beginning to end of a movie in a relatively short timeline. But
I'm saying gradual, like he just like last like the third act, it's Santa goes ape. He goes nuts. Santa goes off the rails, and he's just tired of everybody's, like, the kids being bad, because that was a constant thing. Like, it finally just, I got to do something about this, and this, the straw break camel's back kind of
yeah,
thing.
I mean, I feel that. I mean, that could be something too. Like, I feel like it'd be a very different story then. It very well could have been better that way. I don't know, but
it would have been. No, I'm just
yeah, reach out to Al if you need any help with writing.
Nelms Brothers, yeah.
Doctor.
Yeah.
I
like the premise of this movie a lot, though. I do. I just think they could have.
That's what hooked us
massaged
to
it.
begin with.
Yeah. I would have liked to seen this in the theater. I think it would have been fun.
It's really a function of kind of. I mean, when it comes down to it, it was a misrepresentation in the marketing to a degree, where like.
Yeah. I think that's a sin of a lot of movies.
Yeah, I agree. It definitely.
And I think that the marketing folks at these trailer houses and the executives at these movie houses need to realize that people might actually like the movie if you advertise it and give us the proper expectations.
Right.
So if it's good, it'll find an audience. That's just the way it goes, especially with the way that people chat nowadays and everybody's so connected, so
given how the comedy was treated in this movie, I felt like it really like there was kind of like that middle third where this movie like really started to drag for me a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Where like I could have just used like a little like just some comedic stuff to just kind of, I don't know, bridge the gap from beginning to end. I don't know. I just felt like that piece was missing, and I know I've repeated myself on that, but
that's okay. Comments in the comments.
Yeah, that's right.
Brandon, how did you feel about the kid actor? What was his name again? Chance Hertzfeld, Billy Weenan. How'd you feel about him?
Might as well have been called Billy Wiener. Am I right? The kid was a turd. I thought he was.
Oh boy.
I thought he was like. He played a little snot-nosed kid perfectly. I mean, I didn't.
Yeah, he did a good job.
He was a spoiled, rich kid.
I laughed hysterically when they got the little girl and had her in the basement of the house. And
yeah, he's playing tough guy.
I was laughing. I was like, "Oh, please let the rest of this movie be this campy." It was so cheesy, and I loved it so much. That was one of the parts where I wasn't like knee slap laughing, but I was like laughing pretty hard on that one, and I really
feel like
thought
they didn't lean. I feel like they didn't lean into that enough.
Yeah.
with
It
his
felt like-
character.
especially
that
when
was
Walton
like the only
Goggins was in
time
the
it was-
car.
Right.
ahead,
Like
Brandon.
he was just the whole time. He was just kind of like this
Yeah,
jerk. Like, I mean, I know it's what they're trying to do, but like there wasn't any like that's an easy opportunity to create some comedic elements behind, like they did in that scene.
yeah. Brandon, what were you gonna say? Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say that. I guess in retrospect, that scene sticks out like it doesn't belong with the rest of the movie. Almost like the scene where he's interrogating the girl.
Yeah.
Because they don't really lean into that much at all.
The sandwich makes it so much better too.
Yeah, and whenever he says, "I'll kill your mommy and I'll kill your daddy," and what's your dog's name? Jojo Bean.
Yeah.
I'll kill Jojo Bean. I thought that was hilarious, but it could have been funnier if they, like you're saying, leaned into it more.
It just kills me because they've got the perfect guy to do it.
I know.
It's like
Exactly.
they were like, just dial it back.
Doesn't
Exactly.
make
Just
any
show his
sense.
teeth a little bit more, and it's funnier. Just show his teeth. His teeth.
He was
are
doing
characters.
like a weird accent, not weird, but just weird for him, where he's usually like a southern,
Yeah.
type draw guy, but he was doing some. I don't even remember.
Even
Some
like the
northern
scene at the
accent.
beginning where he's buying Christmas presents, like it just wasn't funny. Like he just, it's just a jerk who's collecting
Yeah.
Christmas presents.
Well,
Yeah.
it seemed like they were trying to set him up to where he would have a
Vendetta.
reason to go after Santa Claus because he didn't get what he wanted.
Oh,
as
for
a
sure.
kid. And,
just
but,
that, like
I mean,
there wasn't any
they
like
coulda-
softness to that scene.
Yeah, well, I know, but I don't know. Just missed opportunity. Keep saying it, but it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. There. I mean, there's plenty they
But
could have
no.
done.
The kid played the role about as good as you could. You just, I don't know if it's a function of writing or what.
Right. So then we have Mrs. Claus. And this is what gets me, is that this is out of the ordinary for a Christmas movie, okay? To have a mixed race relationship with Santa Claus. Perfectly fine. But and I'm not trying to be political or anything like that, but what I am trying to say is that usually when they do that, you can tell that the studio people are like patting themselves on the back for making something, it looks different,
Mhm.
In this, it just felt like she was the best actress for the job.
No, she was the heart of the movie
Yeah,
for
she
this.
was good.
She
for
was
sure.
good. It
I've heard her name before, like in
Mhm.
like
She's
people-
in. She was in. Did you ever watch Broadchurch?
Mm.
no.
I'm looking
It's
at
a
her
show she's in.
IMDb now. It looks like she's done a lot of TV, but it's like she's in RoboCop remake. Just don't remember her in it.
She's really good in Broadchurch.
But yeah, Homecoming, Jack Ryan, which I still haven't seen.
She's in Jack Ryan. I don't recognize her from that.
Yeah, she was good. I thought that. I mean, yeah, like you're saying, she's definitely the heart, and she's like his moral compass for sure, as she should be. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't think there were really like as far as any weak players besides just not utilizing. I feel like if they would have utilized Walton Goggins' strengths, we'd be having a different conversation.
Let's say it again.
Yeah, I almost feel like if they if somebody just went in and re-edited this, tightened it up just a little bit, not because there's too much movie, because it's a relatively short movie. Hour 40, something like that.
Mm.
I mean, but I'm saying like maybe do some cuts and things of that nature. It could be a totally different movie.
It's one of two ways. Like, you either got to market it like the movie that they actually made, or you got to have some more comedy beats in there.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it just makes for kind of it's pretty unmemorable. Like, there's nothing that I can think of that's like, I mean, the final showdown, I guess, is, a little bit memorable, but
I agree.
Santa getting shot in the face and then coming back to life.
Oh, when he had that eye patch, that was pretty sweet. He looked pretty. Mel Gibson with that beard and eye patch and that leather jacket, I was like, Lethal Weapon 5 already, guys. So I truly believe that this movie could have gone down a bad route, and I'm talking about the Santa Claus 3 with Tim Allen. Have either of you seen that movie?
No, I don't have any desire to.
So that movie's
Is that
awful.
the one that's got the
Toy
Jack Frost
Soldier,
or whatever?
yeah. Movie's awful. Like, there's plastic Santa and
Yeah, I actually do think I've seen parts of it.
army men and all this and this movie felt like they watched that and they're like, we're gonna make a realistic version of this. And like that was, I'm not saying that happened, I'm just saying it kind of felt like that might have been the genesis of some of their ideas, because it could have easily, in the wrong hands, could have turned into that quickly. That movie is awful. Like, the first two Santa Claus movies, they're pretty good. They're not great, but they're pretty good.
First one's, I'd say, is pretty great. Enjoyed that one.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that was that long ago, but back in the 90s. But yeah, I mean, the third one, it's a stinker and a half, man. It is a turkey of a movie. It just, everything about that movie is just bad. So when I was watching this, I was like, whew, at least it's, and there are parts of this movie, I agree with Brandon, this movie's a little cacky in some places to where you're just kind of like, having a hard time retaining this. But it's a Christmas movie, so Christmas movies, I think, are kind of looked at a little differently than regular movies because of the nostalgia that you guys talk about all the time, and also the time of year that most people watch Christmas movies. I
grew up with Christmas.
Yeah, I grew up. I was a kid when I saw Christmas first. But I watch Christmas movies all year round. I love Christmas, period. I'm a Christmas nutcase. So, but most people watch Christmas movies from, I don't know, maybe right after Thanksgiving until Christmas, or maybe a little before Thanksgiving. So, and as we'll talk later, about Christmas movies that people should watch for the 12 Nights Christmas or whatever, I can't say that this would make that list. I don't know if this will get into that rotation every year, because I have a pretty regimented, list of movies that I personally watch in the season. But I would probably pull this off the shelf to watch, I don't know, probably with somebody that hadn't seen it. So
I'd be interested to see what someone thought of it who didn't watch the trailer.
Oh, that'd be good. Maybe we'll have to bring somebody on that hasn't seen the trailer. We'll have to make sure they don't see the trailer. So, I mean, to be honest with you, I don't have a whole lot more to say about Fatman. Do either of you have any? This might be our shortest review.
So. Brandon, you gonna one more thing?
Yeah.
No,
not tonight.
All right, so tonight, instead of buy it, skip it, whatever, I'm gonna say, would you give this movie a piece of coal, wait until next Christmas, or would you put it under the tree for somebody else?
What do they mean?
Well, I think we all know what give a piece of coal means.
I got that one.
Wait until next year. That
Christmas.
means maybe rent it, whatever.
Okay.
Buy it for somebody else. That means
This
gift
is
it.
so
Means-
festive.
It is. It's cute.
Al loves Christmas, and it's endearing. You asked.
Here's the thing about this podcast is that if I'm a jerk about
why don't we
if I'm jerk about movies, people are like, "Oh, Al's a jerk." If I'm nice about movies, people are like, "Oh God, Al's happy." So there's no
You did that yourself, Al.
there's no middle ground. What were you gonna say, Brandon?
I don't know. The wait until next. I don't know. I was thinking like maybe put it on layaway is a better like.
We really
Christmas
brainstorming this right
analogy.
now.
Well, all right.
But
Would-
we'll use your rules.
Let's put this movie. Let's put it this way.
Okay.
Would you put it under the tree? Would you?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's
Yeah.
say
Put it on a tree. Put it in a stocking. Throw it outside in the snow.
Run it over with a truck.
Sleigh.
sure. Coal, stocking, under the tree
Okay.
as a premier gift.
Got it.
Okay.
Now that makes sense.
Kind of, but
Stockings are like throwaway gifts. Like, yeah, you know.
I
it's
don't
like,
know.
whatever.
Not my
Stockings can be
family.
Pretty sweet, yeah.
Not my
Stockings
family.
can be pretty sweet.
So your family needs to step up their stocking game, yo.
Well, I always got switches in my stocking.
There's reasons.
Yeah. Your,
All right,
your dad
Brian,
gives
you
you
go ahead.
DVDs of Georgia football.
Those aren't
games.
switches, Brandon. They're called baseball bats.
Oh. Dad beat me with a baseball bat.
What am I supposed to do with this? It's a
Go ahead,
baseball bat.
Ryan.
You swing it, son.
All right, Ryan.
Good
would
Lord.
you lump a coal it? Would you stocking stuffer or put it under the tree?
I find myself in the odd position of I don't know if I'm gonna lump coal it or put it in a stocking. We'll go with put it in a stocking because
There you
that
go.
seems to be the middle ground.
There you go. That's what Brandon calls the middle ground. I actually look forward to the stocking.
For the
Thanks, Santa Claus.
the routine watchers, it's a rent it.
Well, for me, the stocking is like you put some candy in there. It's like you're gonna enjoy it for a little bit, but then it's gonna be it's gonna be
It's
gone.
gonna make you fat, man.
But what's under the tree, well, that lasts forever. So I'm gonna say
Last forever.
Yeah. Trying to get all sentimental here.
Sentimental.
Yeah, I'm gonna say put it in the stocking. I don't think it's something that is gonna be I wouldn't buy it. I'd say it's worth a rental. And yeah, I mean you can check it out. You can
Well,
watch it,
I
you
know
can not.
2 gifts I have to cancel. Not really. No, I would probably. I don't know. I would probably gift this.
You creating your own category right now, Al.
I would probably gift this as like a white elephant gift or something like that. Not like a.
Well, I wasn't aware this was an
I
option.
know, God.
Gotta be more artistic, guys. Gotta be more pretentious, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
Change the rules all
Total
willy-nilly like
Criterion
that.
Corner episode.
Yeah, yeah. No, I would probably gift it as a white elephant gift. So.
Okay, well, I would also gift this as a white elephant gift.
And
so
I
take it
would
back.
too.
Sorry.
That segment was a disaster.
I think it's funny.
All right, so let's just go and do the Oscar quiz.
Yeah.
All right. So in 1997, I'm just kidding.
2020. Best actor
20.
went to Will Smith in
Ben Affleck.
Bad
the
Boys
way
Bad
back.
Boys 3.
I honestly, to be honest with you, I think Mel Gibson might get it this year for
Because
Santa
of the one
Claus.
scene they're gonna
Yeah.
show. Yeah.
Where he tears up. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be hilarious.
That was his Meryl Streep moment. Man, he would. I think he might. I don't know. I think Miracle on 34th Street won some Oscars, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but anyway. Well, tonight on the wrap up, we're going to do something totally different. Right here is where you usually would vote and things of that nature. I don't know why I say it so much, but I don't say it in.
I love that you're catching on to it now.
But I don't say it in my regular life. I don't say it in my regular. But when we get on here, I was like, "Things of that nature, things of that nature," and so, tonight on the wrap up, do stay tuned because we're going to talk about 3 movies that we think you should be watching during the. We're going to call it the 12 nights of Christmas. So we'll do 3 movies every week. So Ryan, do you want to tell them how to get in touch with us again before we head out?
Yep. If you're watching on YouTube, you can drop comments in the comments. Let us know if you're enjoying these videos, what we can do better, any movies we should watch. And on Instagram at CiNEMACHiNE we have some fun conversations going on there about movies. So hit us up.
Get after it. So we will see you all on the wrap up. All right, everybody, we're back with the wrap up. We're going to let Brandon take it away with some movie news before we get started in on our Christmas picks for the 12 nights of Christmas. So, Brandon, please tell us what you got on the docket.
All right, so this week, it's been honestly a pretty slow week. Thanksgiving, not much happened in the news, but one of the things that did happen, which is probably no surprise to anyone, is Queeby is officially dead. R.I.P.
Hang on. That hasn't happened already?
Yeah, no, right.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, what?
Wasn't that like a couple $1 billion just wasted?
1.75 billion to be exact.
Every time I saw an ad for anything Quibi on, like when I was watching sports, I was just like, those poor people are just burying themselves.
Yeah, now, let me ask you this. Was Quibi... Now, I know what Quibi was, but were there shows filmed in vertical?
Both. Well, it was like it would reformat depending on how you held your phone.
Yeah. Quibi, you deserve to die. Just saying it. It's like you suck.
It's just it's a dumb concept.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and so they got so many people on.
Tell us how you really feel, Cinnamachine.
They got so many people like quasi heavy hitters, like A- list, you know, maybe B+
Hey,
list.
money talks.
Oh yeah,
this is one of those things where like they just had so much cash up front where they were like, we got to get the big name people. It's like Super Bowl commercials. They don't pay for writing anymore. They just pay for star power.
Hey, it's you. Just say our dog food name. So
Yep.
Yeah, I can't say that I ever watched anything, but you know, before a YouTube video or before like during sports or whatever, it was like, does Quibi stand for annoying? Because it was just I had no interest whatsoever, and it sounds like nobody else did either. So it's I'm glad you're dead.
It's like the XFL.
Yeah.
The XFL of streaming.
He hate me. Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, no surprise there. I mean,
Brandon's like, what's the XFL?
Whoever greenlit that was like, I mean, it's like, I know what they were trying to obtain as far as what market they were trying to hit. It's like the Instagram market, you know, like TikTok crowd. But
yeah, there's some new social media. I guess you would call it social media. I don't know. I'm not going to say their name, but it's advertised everywhere, and it feels like it's going to be a big bust. But it's basically you have your memojis, their version of a memoji, and you have text messages, or like you do a podcast. Or this is my understanding of it from the bad commercials they put out. And basically the memojis sit there and talk, and you can watch the memojis talk to each other. I'm like, that's the dumbest concept I've heard.
Yeah, they should not spend their money on that.
From the makers of Quibi comes this garbage.
And Movie Pass.
And the XFL.
Yeah, right. McMahon, are you behind all of this?
All right, but anyway, there's really nothing else to say about that. But yeah, R.I.P. Quibi. We hardly knew ye. The next thing on the
No
dock
P.
is that Warner Brothers is apparently like in another. We talked about last week about Wonder Woman 84 coming to HBO Max. They're also apparently trying to decide if they're going to do a similar thing with Godzilla versus Kong. And actually, I think Netflix offered them like $200 million to have this movie on their platform, and I guess they declined it. Obviously, they would probably rather put it on their own platform. It benefits that long term than selling it to somebody.
Well, you know why they said no to Netflix, right?
Tell me.
Because the CiNEMACHiNE swell of cancel Netflix is growing. That's why.
That's a good point. That is a good point.
We have clout. Watch out, Netflix.
Yeah, well, the budget of the movie was, I think, more than $200 million. Apparently,
It's very expensive.
It wasn't even covered their budget. It's funny. This movie was supposed to come out last year, not like 2020.
Yeah, this one needs to. This is one they need to release on streaming too. If the theater stuff keeps happening, don't push this one.
Yeah, well, the thing is, though, I mean, it's one of those things where these like monster movies are popcorn theatrical experiences.
Oh, no doubt.
That's what they're made
How
for.
much
Well,
effect will
I don't
it have
think-
going on a small screen experience? Like, will it? You know, I mean, I know.
Well, I don't think they would still. They would. I feel like they would do the same thing they do with Wonder Woman, where it would come out in both.
That's true. I mean, I don't know what the timeline is. I think it's slated for May 21st currently to release.
It's my birthday.
Oh, is it?
Oh,
Happy birthday! Well, you were a big fan of Godzilla, King of the Monsters, right? I remember you being high on it.
was. Yep.
So maybe we'll go see it for your birthday if it ends up coming out. Yeah, I can't remember who's directing this. I know that your Krampus guy did King of the Monsters. Al, do you know who's doing this one?
I don't know.
Yeah, I do not either.
Anyway, I don't have it here, but
On to the next one.
anyway.
Maybe.
All right.
I was trying to think of like the worst director I could possibly think of.
All right, so
Zack
next
Snyder.
on the list.
I didn't say it. I didn't say it.
You didn't have to, Al.
I honestly wasn't even thinking it.
So next thing, we just got done
Zack
talking
Snyder.
about old Mel Gibson playing old Santa Claus, but there's a new movie by Joe Carnahan that starring Mel Gibson, Frank Grillo, and a few other people like Naomi Watts, Will Sasso.
Nice.
That is just got bought out by Hulu, and it's like I said, it's Joe Carnahan, who you know from like The Gray and what was the
Never saw The Gray.
Dude, it's so good.
he did
I have a weakness. I think I've told you that. I have a weakness for like outdoor forest movies. I don't know
did
what
say
it
that.
is, but
You
I
did say that. Yeah. Yeah, I've said that before.
he did that A-Team movie, I remember.
Yikes.
And Smoking Aces, Narc. Anyway, he reminds me of a David Ayer type. But anyway, this is like a sci-fi, almost Groundhog Day type movie. It's called Boss Level, and premise seems pretty cool. And
Is
I know
it
that
comedic, or is it?
I think it's like an action. I don't know if it's like
Fatman
straight
comedic. We don't know.
Seem like it's. So let me just give you the premise. Frank Grillo
Okay.
plays
Do you
a
have to?
former special forces agent who is trapped in a time loop that constantly repeats the day of his murder. He manages to uncover clues about a secret government project that could unlock the mystery behind his death. Must find Mel Gibson's character, who is the head of the government program, while outrunning assassins determined to keep him from the truth and save his wife, who's played by Naomi Watts.
Sounds like a knee slapper.
So I don't know if it's got like comedy elements per se, but
Did you say Will Sasso's in this?
yeah.
I like Will Sasso.
I do too. But it has screened for well, I don't know if it's critics, but maybe been like a festival or something. I did get positive.
We
buzz
were
out of
not
that,
invited.
No.
What's up with that?
But yeah, I remember
Starting my own autonomous zone.
Joe Carnahan was on a podcast I was listening to I guess it was last year. He was talking about this movie, and he seemed super excited about working with Gibson and Frank Grillo. Actually, Frank Grillo was on the same podcast. Yeah, this has been a project that's been on my radar. I kind of forgot that it was coming out. But yeah.
So it wasn't too firm on your radar. Just forgot about it.
Well, because of 2020, everything got just like kicked down the road.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But yeah, so anyway, it's gonna come to Hulu. I don't know when it's coming. It just says 2021 in this article, but I'm excited to see it. Especially, it's like that's like, the genre itself, the concept's right up my alley. So I don't know about you guys, but maybe a little.
I'm not laughing at what you're saying, Brandon.
Yeah, we don't care what you're saying anymore.
Well, maybe you'll care about this, Al. Chris Columbus is apparently wanting to do a Gremlins 3, and he plans on using some puppets. What do you think about that, buddy? You like that? Like that article?
I like how it's spelled.
Correctly?
No, Ryan changed it. So I think that if they do it right, it'll be good.
Well, that would make sense.
That's very logical.
I don't think they will do it right, though.
Well, he's saying that he wants to do it right.
Well,
if you go into a movie project saying I really want to mess this one up.
Well, it just depends on if they get the heart of it correct. Joe Dante directed the first two, and he directed the first one like real campy and everything. They said, "Oh, come back and do a sequel," and he was like, "I don't want to." And they're like, "Come on, come back and do a sequel." So he basically, the whole second movie is a middle finger to them for making him do a second movie. So it's kind of like a punk rock way of making movies. So I appreciate both of those, as I've stated plenty of times on the show. I'm excited for more Gremlins, but I just don't want them to get way too serious about it. They need to keep the campiness and things of that nature.
In what facet was Columbus involved in the originals?
He may have been a producer.
Because he's quoted as saying, like, he's talking about the originals. He says, I would still do it the same way. I would do it with tangible puppets, not CGI. Maybe having, we had one stop motion scene in the first Gremlins, but I don't think I'd use much CGI in Gremlins 3. So I didn't know what his role was when he says we. But anyway, and he was quoted as saying that his script for this one was as twisted and dark as anything.
Yeah, he wrote the first one, and then it was. I'm trying to remember. I know Joe Dante directed. It seems like, for whatever reason, I don't think so, but I don't know. A lot of people think Spielberg was super involved. I don't believe he was. Just don't remember him being involved. But
well, I think Amblin put it out. So
yeah, so I guess a producing credit maybe. But it's gonna be hard to bring. I'm guessing the way they would do it be like Zach Galligan has a kid and he's like, hey, here's a Mogwai. So, man, I really want to watch. Every week we talk about, I've been on your Cape Cast a couple times, five times now, and every time I talk about
too
Gremlins,
much, some would say.
yeah, that you being that one, but I don't know. the
Well,
Mogwai.
what you were gonna say is Baby Yoda. You always talk about.
No, I'm not gonna say that. I'm not saying that. But I just
why
this
the
movie's
Kit Kat
near and dear,
reference.
and it makes me want to watch the movies more and more and more and more. And I'm just gonna have to. I mean, they're the first one's based around Christmas, so everybody put it on your list.
Well, honestly, Al,
It's not the 13 nights of Christmas, Al. All right.
the only reason
365
that I put this
days of Christmas.
on the news was because you kept talking about Gizmo on Cape Cast.
I appreciate it.
So
I
there
really
you go.
do.
Threw you a bone.
I appreciate it. I hope they do it well. I mean, Chris Columbus is writing it. Maybe it'll be well done. But I think a lot of these studios get in their own way, trying to bring back nostalgia pieces, and
I don't know what that means.
you know, the old movies, Brandon. But they just shoot themselves in the foot so many times. So it's one of those things where I'll probably be a sucker and go see it, but
Did you go see
I'm just hoping they
Chucky
keep the integrity.
remake?
No, as much as I like Aubrey Plaza and I like the original, I think first, maybe second Chucky movies, I still didn't see the new one. I didn't like the design of Chucky.
Red hair.
Too close to home.
Not a fan.
Disgusting. By the way, my sister is terrified of Chucky. it's fantastic.
Yeah.
So
I remember you said
2 years ago for Christmas, I gave her a Chucky doll, and I gave her the movie, and she threw it across the room. So then I was like, all right, here's your real gift. And I gave it to her, and it was a Chucky doll. She was like, ah! And she threw it up. So then I said, okay, I'm sorry. Here's your real gift. And it was a smaller Chucky doll. So I just kept giving her. And she was crying by the end of it. It was fantastic. Oh, it's not Christmas till there's tears. Well, Brandon, you have anything else for news?
Yes.
What?
No, I don't. I'm just kidding. That's it.
One more thing.
Yeah, it's a gift for us all. Thanks, Brandon, for sharing
Sure.
movie news with us.
You got
So
it.
now we get to talk about some films for Christmas. Oh, joy. So we're just going to talk about 3 films in the wrap-up tonight. We're not going to talk about, like, what we've been watching or anything like that. We're each going to nominate a movie that we think should be on your list of 12 Nights of Christmas. That way you can watch these 3, and next week when we release an episode, we'll have 3 more, so on and so forth. So, and the closer we get to Christmas, the more you'll probably see some of your favorites in there. But we're going to talk about some smaller movies up front, kind of get you, whet your appetite a little bit. So, Brandon, let's start with you. What movie would you like for people to put on their 12 Nights of Christmas?
So my movie recommendation is Jingle All the Way.
Oh, good one.
The Arnold Schwarzenegger joint, as we say a lot.
I like to think of it as a Sinbad movie.
And Sinbad. And what's his name? Phil Hartman. R.I.P.
Procedural. Yes. Phil Hartman.
Yeah. I love this
And-
movie. I watched this movie a lot as a kid. As I've mentioned before, I love Schwarzenegger growing up, and anything he put out, I typically would watch as long as I was allowed to.
Did you see this in theaters when you were a kid?
I had to have seen it in theaters. I don't remember, but yeah, I quoted this movie so much. I loved Sinbad as a kid. Also, I loved his comedy specials. Quoted them.
Yeah,
all
I was
the
a
time.
Sinbad nut. Yeah, his specials were his HBO specials were so good to me. So
Yeah,
I was
they're
excited.
Great. Speaking of, hope Sinbad has a speedy recovery. I think he had a stroke or something last week.
Did he really?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought you said news was over. Now I'm sad. Well, that's sad. Yeah. Get well, Sinbad.
But yeah. But not to put a downer on this, but yeah.
Christmas movies.
But yeah, no, I love this movie. the Turbo Man stuff. It's
If you need to pick me up,
Jim
go watch.
Belushi Santa Claus scene. Like, there's just so much goodness in this movie.
Go watch Arnold Schwarzenegger talk to his ponies during COVID.
Yeah, that'll bring you up. I've actually
Go
pulled up
ahead,
that video
Brandon. Give
of
us the impression.
I don't remember
Whiskey.
Oh, Whiskey. Oh, he's such a good girl.
He's like riding around on a bike chasing them.
Yeah. But nah, I mean, this is just one of like Schwarzenegger's like attempts. Like, he did like he would do like a family friendly movie every once in a while. He did like Kindergarten
This and
Cop and this and
Last Action Hero
yeah.
are two of my favorite Schwarzenegger movies. And if you don't like either one of these movies, it's really hard for me to think that you are not from another dimension, because these movies are quirky, extremely campy, but they're fantastic. It is streaming on Hulu, so
Nice.
that's
I just
good
bought
to
it
know.
today. Actually, got it on Blu-ray.
Did you really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I bought this a couple of times over the years. There's some people that tell me they've never seen certain movies. I'm like, here, just take my copy. Just get on my face. But this is a movie that I really enjoy watching with people. And I will say that usually the female folks in the room, not to say all, I have two sisters, and they are not fans of this movie at all. And that's usually what I find. Guys are usually, oh man, that movie's hilarious, and girls are like, nope. So there is an unfortunate sequel to this movie.
Yeah, with Larry the Cable Guy.
Mm-hmm. Have you seen that?
Anyway, love this movie. It's produced by Chris Columbus. We were just talking
Yes it is.
Directed by Brian Levant, who did like Flintstones and Beethoven and some other 90s stuff that I grew up with.
It had a box office of 130 million, so I think it did okay.
It's a good one. But yeah,
Turbo Man.
that's,
Put that cookie down.
Yeah.
But
Well, okay, so let's talk about this also. Jake Lloyd is in this movie. That poor fella has gotten quite the bad rap in life. He was awful in this movie too, but it's a little more forgivable. But Phil Hartman is hilarious in this movie. Phil Hartman can really, when he was alive, he really, I can't think of anything that he did that I just didn't like, you know?
yeah.
He's always the same guy in every movie pretty much, but I mean, he helped create Pee-wee's Playhouse and Pee-wee's Big Adventure, and so I'm a big fan from that, but he's just very unique and hilarious, so kind of like a Pepe Le Pew character in this movie.
Yeah.
But Sinbad, when they have the bomb scene,
It's sick world, sick people.
yeah, yeah, I just never can get enough of that. So yes, get well, Sinbad. We need you in Jingle All the Way 3.
2. Shazam 2. Fury of the
right.
Gods.
Well,
true.
Ryan, have you seen Jingle All the Way?
I have a long time ago, but yeah. It's one I need to rewatch.
Sounds excited about it, doesn't he?
I just don't really remember much of it.
Wanted to rewind.
Yeah,
my
geez,
recommendation,
guys.
Jingle All the Way. It's on Hulu apparently. I'll say so. So if it's not, you can leave your comments in the comments.
Yeah, pop them comments in comments, yo. All right, Ryan. What are you throwing into everybody's festive films this year?
I'm going to throw out one of my probably not on anybody else's one of their favorite comedies of all time list, but it is on mine. Just Friends.
It's a good one.
It is.
Okay.
It is a Ryan Reynolds movie, and Anna Faris is in it. And it's
We quote
It's
it all the time.
yeah, it is hysterical. This is probably the movie that I quote the most of any movie
yeah.
out there.
I love the little
Essentially-
brother. The little brother's funny.
Yeah. they're like slap fighting.
Yeah. Ah!
I love you.
Yeah, and Julie Haggerty, the mom.
Yeah.
She,
What are you doing at Choices?
yeah. I think she is one of the most subtle comedic actresses of all time, and she's hilarious.
He's making snow angels.
She is.
Yeah,
she is so underrated.
She's awesome.
She's underrated.
She was in. What was she in that I saw? Oh, she was in Marriage
Airplane?
Story.
Airplane. Yeah.
Oh, was she?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, she's.
The first thing I ever saw her in was Airplane.
She reminds me of my kindergarten teacher, Miss Harris, and I had such a crush on Miss Harris. I was excited to go to school every day. I was like, oh my god!
Always Sunny, where the teacher looked like Rick Moranis. That Dennis looked up.
She looked and sounded just like Julie Haggerty. So later on in life, when I finally saw Airplane, I kind of redirected that crush on Julie Haggerty. So I'm kind of a closeted Julie Haggerty crush guy. So
yeah, this one, if you haven't seen it, you may have seen pictures of Ryan Reynolds in a fat suit. That's from this movie.
Yeah, with braces.
Yeah. Yeah.
I swear.
Jamie. Dusty.
Whenever the yearbook thing, when he's about to tell her like how he feels and everything. Oh boy, this movie is.
Jamie smiles.
Oh gosh. Now that is the sin.
Anna Faris is hilarious in this movie.
Is
she plays
at her best.
She plays a
Britney Spears type. Yeah.
Pop star musician, and just absolutely crushes
that song
balls.
she's singing in the studio where she's like, I don't know.
Forgiveness.
Where are you?
Where
are you?
And then she's like, what she used, like the microwave on the.
The container said microwavable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the aluminum foil wasn't. I'm not supposed to have to remember these things. I'm the talent.
So I showed this movie to a buddy of mine.
I may have seen this a few times.
I showed this movie to a buddy of mine a few months ago during COVID. And it was one of those things like, Brandon, how we go, like, I don't know what I want to watch. What do you want to watch? I don't know what I want to watch. Let's see. We need to go down the list. And I mentioned Just Friends. He's like, I've never seen it. I was like, well, that's what we're watching.
Yeah.
You've never seen it. Yeah. So we watched it, and man, he was dying on the floor. And with that toothpaste scene where she's like, wow.
She's fine. She's got her toothpaste.
Factoid that we just learned about that, Ryan. Go ahead. Why don't you tell the class?
True. That was actual toothpaste.
Yeah.
She posted the other day and said, fun fact.
It was like 11 tubes of toothpaste or something.
Yeah.
Dang. But she hated toothpaste after
Blueberry.
that. Yeah.
Blueberry.
But whenever
she creeps up behind him and like squeezes it out.
Yeah. But whenever he shocks her right before that with the taser.
Yeah.
And she falls over the rail. Oh man. That movie's so good.
That's one of those movies it's one of those movies where you watch it and you like can't keep up with there's just so much funny happening in it.
Yeah.
You can't keep up with it.
And Amy Smart plays the
she does, yeah.
Jamie,
the love interest, yeah.
And she plays that. I mean, she doesn't really do much outside of her strong suit, but she plays that role very well. Like, was she a teacher? She's a teacher, right?
Yeah.
Or something like okay.
Yeah.
And a bartender.
Yeah, bartender, and
she helps kids or something. I don't remember.
Substitute teacher.
Yeah, but she plays that the town pretty girl that
peaked in high school.
Yeah, and didn't realize she peaked until too late in life, and now she's kind of living with her parents and just kind of getting through life. So
essentially the plot is Ryan Reynolds' character is picked on in high school. He was the chunky brace face kid, and gets bullied and basically resolves to make himself awesome and go back and
I like the best
shove it in
friends.
their faces.
the friends that end up getting married.
So one of my favorite jokes of all time in this movie is one that's not even like on many people's radar. Is when he swings. They're driving in the car. Chris Brandon, Ryan Reynolds' character, and his buddy. They're driving in the car, and they decide to turn around. Ryan Reynolds decides to turn around to go back to get Jamie, and he takes the Grand
the
Prix.
minivan. Oh, the Grand.
It's the Grand Prix, and he drives it like across the snow, and like crashes it, turning it around, and his friend's like, "What are you doing? This is a Pontiac Grand Prix," just because they all ride so low.
Yeah. Yeah. But the guy that played the best friend, I liked him a lot. Kind of reminded me of Mark Ruffalo.
Yep. Agreed.
But his reads on some of the lines was like Chris Brander,
Chris Brander, ladies and gentlemen.
It was. I just really enjoyed, and the girl that ended up being his wife and from high school, and the douchebag guy that's bald now that was like
Dusty.
Yeah. He's like, gonna get some money,
The football guy. What's his name?
Oh, the football guy.
Yeah, the football guy.
Shoot, what is his name? Like Keith or something?
I can't remember. I guess you got to watch Just Friends to find out what his name is.
No, it's
Darn.
definitely worth. If you haven't seen it, even if you have seen it, it's worth watching again.
It's currently not streaming on anything, but you can.
Man, that was a staple on Netflix for the longest time.
Dude,
Yeah.
I just looked for the Blu-ray. You can't. I guess it's out of print or something. Like, it's on
Really?
eBay for like $50, $60
Oh.
for the Blu-ray.
I'll have my copy of the Blu-ray on eBay soon. So,
I think I've got one of those too. Flipping
it.
Just Friends Blu-rays.
Philadelphia.
be going on eBay and seeing if people don't realize what they've got.
Wow, what's your
But no,
recommendation?
so that's my choice. Yep. Al, what
Awesome.
you got?
All right, so I don't know if anybody on the podcast here has seen this movie, but this is a Dennis Leary movie called The Ref. Have either of you seen that?
Yes.
Oh, you have seen it? All right. So The Ref came out in 1994. Has Kevin Spacey.
I don't like sports. So.
Yeah, Brandon was immediately a no-go on this one.
No, The Ref has nothing to do with sports. This couple, Kevin Spacey, and what's her name? Judy Davis. Judy Davis are a married couple, and they have a son who is out at military school, and he's coming home, but she's wanting to divorce Kevin Spacey, but they're gonna act like they're all good during the holidays for the kid that's coming home, and the kid's like teenager, but come to find out that the teenage kid is kind of like running his own like money schemes, like taking naughty photos of this is a rated R movie, by the way. He's taken naughty photos of some of the teachers, and I don't know to what level or whatever in the school this person is, maybe the principal or headmaster or whatever, but he's taking pictures and holding them against them, like blackmailing them for money, and nobody likes him. He's just a jerk, and so he's just got all this money, so he hires like limos and all of this. He doesn't want to go home. He hates his parents, and his dad's side of the family is coming over for Christmas Eve, so the mom and dad go up to the store to grab like some food or like some last minute little things they need for the Christmas night, and that's where Dennis Leary comes in. He is holding the store up, and actually no, he's a thief. He got caught in the middle of a crime robbing somebody's safe, goes and he takes them hostage, and he takes him. I mean, it's Dennis Leary at Dennis Leary, like being Dennis Leary, basically, or being Bill Hicks. So they're just arguing the whole night, and he becomes their counselor, but with a gun, and it's hilarious. The movie is freaking hilarious. Kevin Spacey, this is back whenever, this is 1994-ish. Yeah, 1994, this movie came out. So this is before Kevin Spacey was really a big to-do. So it's hilarious. I watch this movie probably twice a year. I love this movie so much. I actually showed it to my movie club, I think for Christmas last year, and they all loved it. So this movie's a high recommendation for me, and if you guys haven't seen it, I highly recommend you see it as well, because I actually think you'll like it a lot. The family dynamic in this movie is pretty toxic, and the methods of madness, so the whole family comes over. They're trying to keep it under wraps that they're being held hostage, so that they're trying to say that he's their therapist. And the son comes home, he's got him tied up in another room, and he'll go kill him if they do this, that, and the other. But the mom, Kevin Spacey's mom, is the most toxic woman. She holds everything over everybody's head because she's got money, and the hilarity ensues is all I'll say. You look excited to watch it, both of you.
I was just looking it up. Did you know that the director of this is the brother of the director of Silence of the Lambs?
I did not know that. That's interesting.
Well, you need to.
And he's dead as well.
Yeah, they're both dead.
They're both dead. He also directed Blow.
Mm-hmm. See that?
And
Life.
And Who's the Man with Ed Lover and Dr. Dre. That's crazy.
Sorry. I'm mistaken. Jonathan Demme is his uncle, not his brother. But
well, sadly, uncle and nephew are both dead. He also did Yo MTV Rap, so that makes a little more sense that he would have directed Who's the Man. So I used to have that soundtrack. But The Ref, this movie is hilarious. I know it sounds a little more serious in my description. I can't really tell you too much more than that without giving the whole movie away.
Yeah, it definitely didn't sound like a Christmas movie, but I'll take your word for it.
Well, it's all. Oh, and there's this drunk Santa Claus going house to house. He's like the neighborhood Santa Claus, and he's like peeing in bushes and all sorts of stuff, and it all ties together. And it's hard to, being that neither one of you have seen this movie, it's hard to talk about the spoilers of this movie.
I remember seeing this cover at the video store.
Yeah.
But that's a thing that when I was growing up, it's something that kids aren't really going to get. I know we talk about video stores and, like how awesome it was to go to a video store.
You used to go to a place to get a movie?
But, like, seeing covers, be like, oh, look at that. I bet that's a good movie. Just by the cover. Like, we judged what we would rent by the cover.
Not a thumbnail.
Sure.
Just a different time. But, like, there's so many covers. Like, oh, I remember that cover. Like, when I was younger, I'd be
remember, like, go to Blockbuster and you're like, when you're like 12 or 10, whatever, before you could see rated R movies, and you're like, one day, I'm gonna rent that movie.
Kind of like sneak over to the X-rated aisle and be like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, sorry, Mom. I was looking for the video games.
We had a video store at the end of our neighborhood. It was attached to a gas station, and we would walk down there and grab movies like Rainy Day or whatever. And I remember one week we got a stack of It, the double VHS of It.
Mm-hmm.
We got something else, but we also got Bordello of Blood, which all I knew it was the Tales from the Crypt movie. That's all I knew. I didn't know what a bordello was. I was too young to understand what that meant. So I forgot to take the movies back. And, I mean, it was Smallville video store, local video store called Brian's Video Store. And Brian
You're incriminating yourself.
Brian himself called my mom. Hey, Al forgot to bring back It and Bordello of Blood. And my mom thought I went and got some naughty films. She didn't know anything. And I got in so much trouble. Until this day, my mom still gets on to me about renting Bordello of Blood. I've tried explaining to her it was the Tales from the Crypt movie. But, oh, the good old days. Because we had an account up there. You could just go up there and get whatever you wanted, you know. So I didn't really have a lot of restrictions on what I could watch. So we just went and got a stack of movies and all, like, piled up in somebody's house and watched them during rainy days. So it's a good time. But I highly recommend The Ref. And
Ryan's out.
Ryan's camera does not recommend The Ref, apparently. So, well, I think that's all for this week. We'll bring some more Christmas spirit next week on CiNEMACHiNE. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Ryan, you want to tell everybody how they can get in touch with us and tell us what they're watching for Christmas this season?
Yep, you can let us know in the comments on YouTube if you got any suggestions for us to watch. And then on Instagram at CiNEMAChinePod. We'll be putting some posts up about some of this Christmas stuff, so feel free to jump in on the conversation.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. Brandon, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we had some great news conversation tonight. So everybody let us know what you think of Fatman. Let us know what you think of the Christmas movies that we have suggested. And let us know movies that we should be watching this Christmas season. And, of course, we will see you all on the next CiNEMACHiNE.
So long.
Bye.